13.
Okay, let's go back to where we were yesterday because I want to see if we can get through this so we can get to the point. Because the next stage is going to actually talk about the Kadshos, which none of this is particularly, well, let's see, the part that we're in right now is fairly straightforward, but I have some problems translating here, so let's see what I can do. I'm going to start again, and then we're going to come over to these notes he has down below, again on page Tov Mem. So it says like this, he said, "Rabbi Rishona the Hamshachas Kli Varucha. V'acha shenishlam tikun partzufi ha'ach dazun." So now everything that we've learned really up till this point really qualifies or clarifies the whole process of the dormita and the mochin coming directly into the nukva. He said that had to do with the acharayim. So now we really want to talk about the panim, I think. So he says, because now the mochin the achim is davening because of a yichud, a zun zivug rishon and nikra bir rishona, v'inyanuchu lahamshech as bechinas harucha leyesod the nuk. So it's to bring this rucha, which is a male force, into the yesod of the nuk. Shayideza tehiyah muchene, or muchana, lebia ha'ikris shehu bi shnia loholeda, which is the second yichud. You need two yichudim, and going on. But since that doesn't happen, that hasn't happened yet, because you're going to bring too much shafa, and that will feed the chitzoni because they're located from the chaz lamata or in the nai, what they call the nai, okay. Ma'alim osam abba ve'ima, so therefore, which I mentioned yesterday, what the force is that pulls them up, but at any rate, abba ve'ima pulls them up, that's his language. Abba ve'ima the makomam into their place, so the chuppah, and they cover them over, like it's their womb, so to speak, or the chuppah, they cover them over, v'sham mekablim mochin upon him, and there they get mochin upon him. Now he has a note on this. I don't know if we read this yesterday. I don't think we did. Ein elo hamochin upon him mamish. You must understand us to understand it. Why? Shaharbeim nimshakin rak la'achar mekan kamosha yavor luchamonas. We're going to say they're going to come later. Rak mekablim this man maso in this course of time mochin upon him behiyozim sham bechek abba ve'iba, but in a higher, more protected area outside of the realm of the Kali. As some mochin upon him that they give them their own mochin upon him. That's trying to understand. In other words, it's not the juice that this way saying. He says it's not the juice that's designated for the digestion of the mochin upon him of their own. It's not their own, but rather it's a loan from Abba Ve'ima. Now he says, so in other words, it's there upon him. I'm not sure what the difference is between the two, but that's what he says. He says, what's right? Cost of od, ba'ofen achri is a different way. The kodem bezivug, to be a rishon, before that takes place, chozrim the zaham mochin the ach, shenistalku b'menu. So they're not up at the chazer, up at the chek of Abba Ve'ima, but rather Zon is getting his mochin back. And now he's able to make a yichud. So I don't know which version is right. So they seem to be different. Let's go back up to the top and read along again. So after we've sowed V'sham mekable mochin upon him, that was number Vav. And Mizdavgim Sham Zun Zivug Dibir Rishona, and there, in this place, because this seems to be what the note is actually saying, they have a yichud for the Bia Rishona, they have a Rishona, reading along. Uve'es HaZivug Noisin Zalanuk as HaMochim, which Mochim, so we have to read these two together, I think, and see if I can make sense out of it. At this point, Noisin Zalanuk as HaMochim Dema Deben, that is the female aspect of the male. He's the male, he's giving her something, and he's giving her what she needs, which is the ben part. So he's giving her his ma and as a ben, and we'll read the note on this. Behem nikroim bazoyer Hayrucha the Shadi Babailo. So that's what they're called, or we say the Shadi Begavo. So we say that in different places. So let's look at number Zion. Like I said, I had a little trouble piecing together exactly what he says. Let me see, get this. There we go, better. So he writes a Kerem Shlomo, but it's been a long time since we looked at the Kerem Shlomo. He says it's in Shar Kaf. This is his the last shar that he had. Midifus Chodesh, etc., etc. So the Kerem Shlomo Hiksha, he asks a question. Alon b'kevin shedistalko l'mochem b'zera be'eza dormita. Im came eich yochel l'chamshech l'nog as the mochem demar de ben. So since he has nothing, how's he going to give anything to her? How's he going to give that female part of the male? How's he going to do that? Behavior b'chasada shiyash is now the sada, so it brings the sada over here and explains like this. The be'ez aliyah zara l'chek abba v'ima. Okay, now you have him up in the chek abba v'ima. Choser the Lekeach Machadish as a mochin the Abba Ve'ima, so they get, this seems to rhyme with some idea we had earlier. He says Choser the Lekeach, they go back and they take Machadish again anew as a mochin the Abba Ve'ima. So in other words, Abba Ve'ima, I guess I'm thinking he means the mochin, their own mochin, that originally were given from Abba, or come from Abba Ve'ima. I'm not sure. He says Choser the Lekeach Machadish as hamochim the Abba ve'ima. So they're taking again, because he said again, od hevi liyashe ba'ofen achar. So that's one. So they're getting the mochin again a second time, but they're getting it in a more protected place. Is that what it means? I'm not sure. The be'eza dormita non mistalku v'benaki ima mochin the godless. So how does this work? He says that at the time of the dormita, we said that the mochin came out as their anpin, and ultimately the female aspect, which I guess is what he's saying is the ben, the ma, or the ma, the ben, rather, he's calling ma, the ben. He said, ki im ha-mochin the godless, that's the only part that really leaves. Aval nisharne b'cham ha-mochin the katnas. Ha-mochin alalu, mamshech lo as harucha, and from those mochin, he sends harucha. Now, that's hard for me to digest at this moment. I'll read it one more time. Of the Sharim Bo Mochin the Kadnas, that remain in him the Mochin the Kadnas. And what can you do with the Mochin the Kadnas? Of the Mochin Halalu, and for the Mochin the Kadnas, Mamshek Law as Harucha, that's where the Rucha, where he gets the Kliba Rucha kind of idea, is really coming, he says, from Mochin the Kadnas, that Zer Anpen can still give to the Nukva. So maybe that will make a little bit more sense out of this next part, which is number ches. So this went on the phrase, he says, the ma de ben. Well, just up above it says the ma de ben, and then he says, what's the ma de ben? Once again, it's the female aspect of the ma. So we said like this, I'm trying to get my mind back on this. Shebe'ez hazivuk de bir rishon and noises their anpin and nok mochin de machu de ben, the ma de ben, and we said that before. Be'ez hazivuk a gomor, but when the real zivuk takes place, nosinam mochin de machu de ma, he gives her complete and total male aspect. That's the real rucha de shadi begavo or azai b'divrei shom. And then what happens like this, and I think it's a little confusing here. I'm thinking here. Let me see. He says, "Alamad de ein zerek pshuto." Don't think that that's the simple meaning of this. What was the simple meaning? He says that she gets normally at the first yichud she gets the ma de ben, and now she's going to get the ma de ma. She's going to get complete and total rucha. Azai b'divrei shalom. He says like l'chavlamed de ein zerek pshuto. L'odim noses their anpin and nok rak mochin de ben. In the end, that's what he gives her. We have the idea that he gives her the gevuros. I think that's what you would call the ben. Another way to look at it, ma de ben, would be chasadim and gevuros or something like that. We'll see how that works. He said, mekabelas es moche de ben. He said, ben de ma da'ach. So let me read again. Ella b'techila shkushumedet ma'achrav. She's standing on his back. What mochen does she gets? She gets mekablim as a mochen the ben uben de ma. So this is the ben. She's getting the ben. So she's getting the ben means the female aspect, or the pure female aspect. The ben de ma means the female aspect, but it has a male aspect tied to it. But those are the mochin de ach. That's what she gets while she's on the backside of him. She gets mochin de ach. Now let's go over here. But the zivug de be rishonet. Noisin nochas a mochin de ben upon him. So then she gets also the ben, the pure female ben. This is the be rishona, the ponim. And she's up there in the Hegel Abba Ve'im, and what is she getting? She's getting the ben of the Panim. She's getting what she needs. Now, let me see. So that's when they're up at the Chek of Abba Ve'ima. Now, is she still on his backside, or where is it? They're both facing each other because they could do that in that place. So when the Yichud takes place, which is the second Yichud, the Lahodid is a mochin, the ben de ma, that when she, at the second Yichud, as a mochin, she's going to get the ben of ma. There she's going to get the male aspect of the female, which is, the ben is the female, the ma, she's going to get that ma, the ponim, she's going to get that. Masha Omer Harav Shabazivug de Bia Rishon in Noisin Dacha B'mochin de ma the ben, where he's giving her that, she's getting that ba the ben, Ubazivug Hagam or Mochin de ma, that phrase that he said up above. Why is he saying that phrase? What's that phrase mean? He says, Hu Mishum Sheba Erech HaMochin de Ach, and this is this idea that you have to get used to. He says, everything is really, how'd you get to this ma the men if you said that the mochin that she gets, Masha Omer Harav Shabazivuk the Bir Rishon, Noisen no mochin the ma the ben. Up here we said she's getting the ben, and she's getting the ben the ma. She's getting all female stuff. Over here, though, we say that the ultimate thing is that you get the ma the ma. So this little stretch here, and we said, with Masha Omer Harav Shabazivuk the Bir Rishon, Noisen no mochin the ma the ben. So wait a minute. So this would be the ben part of the ma. This is getting something more mellow, but Bezivika Gamor, she's going to get the men. He says it's relative. If you look at whatever is going on in these panim dika mochim, if you look at it in relationship to the mochin, the ach nechshav and the mochin, the panim, the bechin is ma the ben ma the ma, because relatively speaking, they're going to be all mas. Okay, so let's see. It's confusing in the language of ma and ben and ma and all that. I'm trying to make it understandable what they are. Male aspects of the female aspects of the male and male, female and female, like that. So that's the nature of how things go. They go like that. La'achar mekan chozrim v'yordin zun lamata. Then after that they go down. But now, since you now have a complete ach of the nuk, overis la'amud achre kumas haponim. She goes down. This translation, she passes over. Let's say la'amud achre kumas haponim. She's now standing around the back of the column of his face. The panim shaloch or umedet b'tzad the panim de zer anpin, which is now standing in the face of zer anpin. V'kumas hapanim shaloch he ata adayim b'sod nekuda achas. Now I need to read this again because I really couldn't follow the bouncing ball, so I'll read it again. He says la'achar mekan. After this, right after, I guess they went to the chek abba ve'ima. Chozrim, they go back to their position, v'yordin zon lamata. V'ata la'ach shekuvar nishlam kumas ha'ach. So now the ach has been completed. And so there should be an asira here, shalanuk. Veris la'amot, she passes around, and now she's standing, achre kumas haponim, she's behind the column of the face. Now, that's the achre. I would think she would be in the front of it, but she says she's in the back of it. But she was in the back before. She's on the back of the face. The column of the face, of the ponim. She's a complete acharayim, and now she's still, sounds like she's still back to back with, she's still back to the face. In other words, you have a face, she's around the place of the face, but it sounds like her back is to the face. That's what it sounds like to me. So he said, Overis the Amod Akre Kumas upon him Shalah. So she's now, and her own, she's standing, that's really hard for me. She says, Overis the Amod Akre Kumas Haponim Shalah, behind her own Ponim. Ho'omedet b'tzad the Ponim Dezer Anpin, which is always standing on the side of the Ponim Dezer Anpin. He said, B'kumas Haponim Shalah, he Ataradayim B'sod Nekuda Achas. So, this is very difficult for me because I think he's postulating here that there's already a column, the nook that was the acharayim of the nook, which is now free, is transforming itself over to the other side. And where's she go? This is what it sounds like he's saying. She's going to a position that is her acharayim and mating up with something that's already existing. That's what it sounds like to me, which is her own planet. And she's now on the back of it, and then the last part is he says she's only a dot. She's still only a dot, and that dot is around the front. And since, maybe because he's saying, since it's an acharayim, I'm just trying to understand this, since it's an acharayim, so therefore it's going to be on the back of the panim, and it's just a little dot. So that's what it sounded like. I don't know what you think, but I'm going on. So let's go to this as the big show. Now they're going to try to put together the partsufin of the panid is their anpen v'denuk v'hashlimin the yud sephiros and make them both into 10 spheros. So how does this start? The first thing starts v'dechida ola hamaman aman, which is what? Biruim deponim. I think he mentioned before that when the mochid of Bia start coming up, this also they come up to a silus, like I'm assuming the bottom of it silus. Biruim deponim is mehamakom shehoyu bo b'tzilus k'nitzka the el shegavar b'alo mebia biyachad in the biruim. Oh, he says it. The ach v'nishar v'la'am b'tzilus, and they're standing. They came up. They're there. V'olim parts of the parts of olim v'ma'ordim v'zivid the parts of absag the ak, and they come to the very most ultimate yichud. The nolden the mochad upon him, and from that situation, all these berurim cause the mochad upon it to grow. Now he's just said that when they go back, that is Zachar v'Nuk, when they come back from the Chekabah v'Ima, she's a little dot in the front of him. She's a little dot on the backside of her own panim. That's what it sounds like. The nolden the mochad upon him. The nimshachem v'yardim the parts of but nimshachem the abba v'ibah u'misdavim abba v'ibah mamshich lezon as a mochad upon him. What are the mochad upon him? They're the male for the female part of the male and the male part of the male. So also, wait a minute, it's a mochad upon him, which are the ma u'ben the ma. I read it wrong. U'ma u'ben the ben. Upon him. So she gets all of the mochin upon him. But mochin upon him niknasim is pashtim techila. So what happens? They first go in besoch anuk b'nekudis upon him shalach omedet upon it is their anpin. So the first place they go is into this nekudis upon him shalach, into that dot which we said was her panim, was around her panim, but it's on the backside of the panim. Hamodet b'panim dezah, which is standing at the Panah Dezah. Now, it's a little confusing for me, so I'll try to keep going. Then after that, they leave the nook. That's the first place they go. They go into the nook, and then they go from there in the nook, into Zer Anpin. The Zer Anpin meir el anuk el chelik hamokin shalom, derek nekev v'chazer shalom. Now, this makes no sense to me. I can't make any sense out of it. So I try to read it. How much time do we have left? No time. Okay, we'll get it another time. We'll keep trying to attack this and try to understand what we're holding. This is Baruch Fleischman, and you've been listening to the Tikkun Elevator Kollel. This is stuff a little bit higher than our pay grade. I got to try to put it together.